Alrighty guys, back on Project Junk S10. Working on the rockers right now. You see I'm getting them fit. Had to push the truck up further in front of the hoist there to be able to open the door up to be able to do all this. Cut away what was left of the rocker. I left some of it, the good stuff. I left some of it there. I'm going to be drilling holes there, and I'm going to spot weld it down to the original rocker. That's good, and then also to this lip that goes there. I got some fitting issues right here. I got to work on that, and also that. It's going to go, you can see it's going to go onto that deal right there, and then it's got a new piece that was all rusted out, so we'll weld that to that there. And like I said, I got to get this fitted a little better. Not looking for perfection here. I just want a solid rocker here that I can run for a while. Then once I get this in, I'll start fitting the cab corner on, because it actually laps over, and I think it might be able to weld it to this there too. So that's what I'm doing, getting the rusty, crusty stuff all over me again. Not impressed with the floor after I pulled the mat up and everything and pulled everything back to get ready to weld this in. It's crusty too, so I ain't gonna mess with that right now. So we'll just continue with this, and we'll get these rockers in. This thing gives me a couple years of service. I might look into doing more, but right now I'm just going to get these rockers and cab corners on, and we're going to call that good. The time-consuming thing with rust repairs is the fitting of the panels. That's really what takes the most time. You can just cut away your rusty stuff. It usually is pretty easy to do that. The thing that takes the time is fitting them. I am not going to take as much time as like I did with the dually or whatever, because this thing just isn't worth it. I'm going to get these fitted. I'm going to get them welded in, and I'm going to go to the other side. So that's what I'm doing, guys. Bring you back here in a little bit, maybe after I get this welded in. Okay, so I took my panel here and I punched a bunch of holes where I'm going to be putting spot welds all along here, and I put some down here. That's going to it's actually going to the original rocker that I left. So I've got that all figured out, and I've cleaned up my edge here. Got it all cleaned off of the paint and everything, because you got paint, you're not going to get a weld, so you got to have that cleaned off. And got it all cleaned off everywhere. I'm going to spot weld. Hopefully, I'm going to set it up here. We'll find out. And if I have a problem, I'll have to pull it off and clean it. But hopefully, it's going to go on here for the last time. And I'm going to start spot welding this in. And there we go. One rocker panel welded in. Seems to fit okay. Might be a little tight down there, but whatever. For what it is, I'm fine with it. Ground all my welds down. Most of them are going to be hidden by that gasket, so it doesn't really matter. Over here, I'm going to be running the rocker guard or some type of bed line or something up to that body line. So that don't matter right there. I'll get that smoothed out quick. Same with over here. I got a deal up front that I'll be painting anyway, so it doesn't matter. On to the cab corner. Okay, so you gotta love aftermarket parts that don't fit all that well. But anyway, I'm working it. There's gonna be a bigger gap right here because this panel needed to be made a little wider. I mean, not much wider, but just a little bit wider. The shape of this panel doesn't really fit the shape of the door. You know, for what I'm doing here, it ain't whatever. It ain't gonna bother me. Otherwise, it seems to fit, you know, decent. The rest of the place is just this curve is wrong. So I gotta do a little more trimming here, a little more work in this edge there, and we'll be welding it in, I guess. So there's the finished repair, guys. Had to do a little bit there, but you're never gonna see that. It's gonna be behind the bed, but put some body filler there quick. Finish that off nice and solid. Like I said before, kind of a bigger gap right here, but the panel was made wrong and I wasn't gonna rebuild it, not for this truck. So there's Chevy, guys. Gonna move on to the other side. Probably ain't gonna do no video over there. It's gonna be the same thing. That side's actually more solid, so I'll have more rocker left. But okay, so I figured I'd take some time to show you guys some of the tools that I use generally on a rust repair like this. Stuff that I found to be really helpful. You need some little pry bars and stuff and chisels, punches that you can use a hammer and hit. This angle grinder, really use this a lot with a 3-inch cutoff wheel. I mean, I use this a lot on rust repair jobs. I don't know, it just seems to work most places. Another little grinder here with them roll-lock discs. Really make quick work of paint and stuff. Like using that. This little die grinder here, when I can't get the cleaning up welds and stuff with this or something, I can usually get in there and clean off rust and paint for welding too, if I can't get something in there. Also good for knocking the little BBs off your welds. And then we've got an air hammer here. This thing comes in handy not only for you know, you can use it like a needle scale or knock off big chunks of rust, or like this here I got. This is actually for like exhaust pipe, I believe, but it works really well for separating spot welded panels, especially if they're rusty. It'll usually pop them right off. And cutting sheet metal like somewhere you can't reach or something seems to work well for that. For the like, needle scaling and knocking big chunks of rust off, you want to use a blunt tip. You wouldn't want to use this, or you would, you know, tear into your whatever you're hitting. And then we have the needle scaler, of course. Really not used in rust repair, but it will knock off rusty scale of areas you're trying to figure out, you know, if it's solid or not. I really love this tool. It took me a while to get one of these, but I use it a lot now. and it's a nice tool. I get a lot of flack on my video where I did on this thing. People saying I need to sandblast stuff or whatever. I don't know what they're talking about. Sandblasting and needle scaling, two totally different things. But anyway, needle scaler is another good tool to have. Those are the tools that I like to use. I've used them a lot on this job. I've used them a lot on other rust repair jobs, but they do make everything go a lot easier. So after all the cutting, grinding, and welding, here's my rust pile. Pretty significant pile here. I've also done a couple dumps of my little vacuum cleaner of stuff, so I mean, that's a huge pile. I don't know what that weighs, but it probably weighs a good amount. Not all that's rust, some of that's sand that's been jammed in there, in the frame that I knocked out, and in the rockers. Okay, so I was able to get both sides done in this video. You see I got the cab corner. This one fit a little better. Actually, it fit a lot better than the other one. The other side, they like stamped it too narrow, and it had a little bit more of a gap, but this side actually fit better. The rocker too actually fit a little better than the other side, but it's fine for what this is. I got my little patch there. Just took the top piece here and made that patch there. So we're good to go on rockers and cab corners. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them fenders. I know I got a hole on both sides, but we'll see what to do with that. I might throw the fuel tank back in this thing and drive shaft so I can move it around before I start doing the body work and stuff for this. I've ordered some stuff to do this bottom side of the truck. I'll show you that when I get it, when I'm doing it or whatever. But anyway guys, I guess that's going to do it for this one. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you guys in the next one.